What's up everybody and welcome back to another video. Season of Discovery Phase 2 is just about 3 weeks away and we're starting to get a little bit of information. People are starting to ask, what are going to be the best professions at level 40 for my specific class? Is Gnomeregan going to be a 10-player raid, a 25-player raid, a 40-player raid? Which consumables are going to be the best for level 40 raiding? And in this video, we're going to talk about all of that. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is professions, right? I have a professions video in the works talking about which professions are going to be the best moving forward at level 40. However, if you guys head on over to your profession trainers, specifically gathering profession trainers like this skinning trainer here, you could see that to train artisan skinning, you're going to need to be level 41 and have level 200 skinning to go any higher than that. So it looks like we're going to be capped at 225 in this next phase. Just remember though, this is only speculation and they could even cap it at 200. This does change which professions are going to be best for some classes, and I'm going to talk about that more in my professions video. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is your mount. Now, right now at the end of phase 1, there's not much going on, so people are trying to make the most amount of gold possible, whether it's investing in consumables or even just simply saving for their level 40 mount. Now, if you head over to your mount breeder and trainer, you're going to notice that to purchase your mount from the breeder, it's going to cost somewhere around 40 gold, depending on your reputation. And then if you take a look at how much it costs to train the riding skill, that's going to be 9 gold. So roughly 50 gold for your level 40 mounts, which is pretty much half the price it is in Classic Era. Now, this price could fluctuate a tiny bit depending on your reputation, like I said before. So just assume that it's anywhere in the ballpark between 40 to 50 gold. Now, moving on to our next topic of discussion, this came out earlier in a tweet by Agrand. Earlier today, on January 17th, if you're watching this later than that, Agrand said, should we delay the launch of the Gnomeregan 10-player raid by a week or just have it open from day 1 of phase 2? Why do you feel that way you do? Just trying to get a pulse check and some opinions to read. Thanks. So Agrand basically confirmed that Gnomer is going to be a 10-player raid. This is an answer to a lot of the speculation that everyone has been having. We didn't know if it was going to be a 25-player raid, a 15-player raid, a 10-player raid. Now we have confirmation that it is a 10-player raid. And he's asking if they should delay the opening of the raid by 1 week so that people have time to level and experience finding their runes and everything else that this new phase has to offer. I personally think this is a great idea. I do think that the Gnomeregan raid should be delayed by at least a week. If it's not delayed, what's going to happen is you're going to have the super sweaties hitting level 40 and clearing the raid on day 2, which means that they've plowed through most of the content and already finished the raid as fast as possible. If we delay it by a week, it gives everyone a chance to play the next phase. Now, I know that these runes are going to be found really fast. They're going to be all over Wowhead. People are going to just start looking them up. But by delaying the raid by a week, you're giving it that much more attention. People aren't going to feel as pressured to rush to level 40 as fast as they can so they don't miss a lockout. And I think that this is going to be the right way to do this going forward, and I think they should do this with all future phases as well. But I'm really curious to see how you guys feel about this. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you want them to delay the launch of the raid, or do you think it should be in from day 1? I'm sure this is a pretty controversial topic. So there's a couple of things left that I want to go over in this video. I want to talk about the phase 1 DPS rankings a little bit, just see where each class is at now that we're coming to the end of phase 1. I want to talk about some consumables that are going to be extremely useful next phase, and I also want to talk about this Stranglethorn Vale PvP event and maybe some Hakar lore, courtesy of Wowhead. So let's jump over to the phase 1 DPS rankings and take a quick look at where each class stands. So as of right now, this is the week of January the 9th. As it stands right now, the top DPS goes DPS Warrior, Rogue, Marksmanship Hunter, Feral Druid, Warlock, Melee Hunter, Fire Mage, Paladin, Arcane Mage, Balance Druid, Enhancement Shaman, and so on and so forth. As you can clearly see here that towards the end of phase 1, this really is starting to look like Classic WoW. We have our Warriors and our Rogues right at the top, followed up by Hunters, Feral Druids, and Warlocks. This is pretty standard in terms of vanilla Classic WoW rating, and I think This is a pretty good indicator of things that need to be changed a little bit going forward in all of these phases. You have warriors, which are one of the most gear dependent and super scaling DPS classes that there are in the game, already outscaling every other DPS class by a long shot, by a large margin. I have 2 level 25 warriors that I raid with every single lockout, and I'm a huge warrior fanboy, but I gotta say, they need to take this into consideration going forward when balancing and changing up some of these runes. People complaining that hunters are a little bit too overpowered. Yes, they were overpowered in PvP, but if you're looking at the PvE side of things, they are not anywhere close to as strong as rogues and warriors in terms of pure DPS. Warlocks are pretty surprisingly at the top of the caster list, which is really nice. I think warlocks are actually in a really good spot right now, but if they don't do some balancing going forward in the next phase, I could see casters falling off quite a bit and warriors scaling even more out of control. This isn't going to be a huge deep dive. I just wanted to give you guys a glance at where each class is currently standing. Now, keep in mind, this should not deter anyone from playing any class that they find fun. While I do understand that the classic player base are a bunch of meta-chasing people who will follow these logs to a T and play only the meta classes, you could play what you want. It's all viable. Black Fathom Deeps can be cleared by literally an entire group of fresh level 25s with no raid gear at all. If you're someone who wants to meta chase and be the absolute top DPS in a raid, then this might be for you, but for everyone else, don't let this deter you from playing the class that you find the most fun. Now, moving on, let's talk about some of the consumables that are going to be valuable in Phase 2, courtesy of Wowhead. On our list here, let's start with some food buffs, right? Some of this has changed. I don't think Wowhead knew that the level cap for professions was going to be 200 when they wrote this article, so we'll just exclude anything over 200. As for food buffs, we have the Sagefish Delight, which requires 175 cooking skill and will give you 6 MP5 for 15 minutes when you eat it. We have the Dragon Breath Chili, which occasionally belches a flame at enemies struck in melee for the next 10 minutes, and it has a 5% proc chance. We have Heavy Kodo Stew, which will give you 12 stamina and 12 spirit for 15 minutes, and Spider Sausage, which will also give you 12 stam and 12 spirit. Moving on down to potions and elixirs, we have a ton of them. I won't go over every single one, but I'll just give some of the more notable ones. As you're going to see here, Elixir of Ogre Strength is still going to be the top strength elixir for this phase because the next one is not available at level 200 or lower. But we're going to get a new Elixir of Agility, which is going to give you 15 agility for 1 hour, so that's really nice. We have the Elixir of Frost Power for Frost Mages. We have the Elixir of Greater Defense for our tanks. We have the Mighty Troll's Blood Potion, which is going to regenerate 12 health every 5 seconds for 1 hour. The Fire Protection Potion and the Nature Protection Potion, which these might really come in handy for the Gnomerigan raid. Another big one that's going to help warriors out a lot here is going to be the Great Rage Potion, which drinking it increases your rage by 30 to 60, and it's on a 2-minute cooldown. These are going to be an absolute must for anyone trying to parse really well. And of course, we have our free action potions, which we have available to us now, so that's nothing new. The Lesser Invisibility Potion gives the Imbiber lesser invisibility for 15 seconds. I could see this actually spawning some new farming metas and things like that. Once you introduce invisibility elixirs into the game or stealth mechanics, people tend to find ways to do some pretty cool stuff. And then after that, let's look at some item enhancing things. We have the Solid Sharpening Stone from Blacksmiths, which is going to give you 6 weapon damage. You also have the Weight Stone for some blunt weapons. We have the Thick Armor Kit for anyone trying to apply some armor to their gear. We have Frost Oil. When applied to a melee weapon, it gives a 10% chance of casting Frostbolt at the opponent when it hits. We have Lesser Wizard Oil, so now we have a Wizard Oil for our casters to be using as well as some more enchants. I'm not going to list all of them. There are quite a few. I'm actually doing a full profession breakdown video for this next phase, so stay tuned for that. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the Stranglethorn Vale PvP event. I have to go on record here and say that I am extremely excited for this. When Blizzard posted the announcement video to this of Stranglethorn Vale with the sky turning blood red, I thought it was one of the coolest things ever, and I really am looking forward to this. And in the spirit of that, Wowhead posted some Hakar lore. If you guys want to check it out, I'll drop that in the description below to read through. I'm pretty excited for this. We don't know how it's going to work yet, but I am assuming it's going to be completely different than Ashenvale because that is what they said it's going to be. They said it's going to be nothing like Ashenvale. They're going to take what they've learned there and apply it going forward for Stranglethorn Vale. Stranglethorn Vale is a notorious PvP zone that we all know and love or hate, but I think it's going to be a really good time. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think the event is going to entail? I'm loving all the theories that people are coming up with, so seriously, drop them down below. But anyways, guys, that's all the updates I've got for you today. Looking forward to this season. It's going to be a good one. We have tons of content coming, so if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. And if you want to join an awesome Discord community full of like-minded people who all enjoy geeking out over Season of Discovery and classic WoW in general, I'll drop a link to the Discord in the description as well. We will welcome you with open arms. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.